War for the Planet of the Apes set the franchise up for the perfect fourth film in the reboot saga. Another remake of the original Planet of the Apes movie from 1968. While Matt Reeves, who directed War for the Planet of the Apes and its precursor, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, said there is no reason to remake the original, Wes Bell has now taken over the franchise for Disney, and his The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes could be the beginning of the path toward reimagining the movie that started it all. War for the Planet of the Apes ends with Caesar sacrificing himself to save the apes and destroy what remains of the human militia, Alpha Omega, a fitting conclusion to the trilogy that began with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Continuing through the sequels Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes, the reboot trilogy depicted the birth of the evolved ape and the fall of the human race, and the legacy of Caesar was the linchpin holding it all together. After his introduction as a baby chimpanzee in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Caesar grew to become a leader of his kind. His death closed the trilogy and set the wheels in motion for a refreshing new future for the franchise. The next movie, which will be called The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, needs to contend with Caesar's legacy while also continuing the story and reintroducing human characters. Wes Ball, who is directing Kingdom, has begun negotiations to develop 2 further sequels, drawing it all together into a new Planet of the Apes trilogy. Ball takes over from director Matt Reeves, who laid the groundwork perfectly for a remake of the 1968 original. The virus that wiped out almost all humankind has now mutated, rendering the last remaining humans mute. War for the Planet of the Apes introduced Nova, seemingly the same mute woman whom George Taylor meets in captivity in the original movie. It's clear where the story is going, and now is the perfect time to deliver the goods. Why Disney should remake the original Planet of the Apes? The original Planet of the Apes was released in 1968. It is an iconic piece of cinema but very much of another time. There are younger audiences who haven't seen the movie and don't know its twist ending with the Statue of Liberty. They haven't met Dr. Zayas or George Taylor. It's time to bring the successful Planet of the Apes reboot full circle to remind moviegoers why the series has become a pop culture behemoth. Plus, the final remnants of human resistance were wiped out in War for the Planet of the Apes. Human characters will need to be reintroduced, and what better way to do that than with a time jump and a crashed spaceship, as in the original? The rebooted Planet of the Apes franchise has been building towards such a remake. A new version of the 1968 movie would be the most satisfying conclusion to the saga. If it doesn't happen in the next movie, it could happen in the 5th or 6th installment of the reboot series. The War for the Planet of the Apes ending tied up a lot of loose ends and set the apes on the path to a world where they could dominate humans after the virus. Simply returning to where that movie left off would leave the next installment devoid of any mystery. Audiences know the apes can talk, they know humankind has been devastated. What they don't know is what Earth could end up looking like after the apes are given a few hundred years of free reign. Only a lost George Taylor on his spaceship, Icarus, could find that out, and that's exactly what the franchise should show next.